Hello. You get those squiggly bits dancing. Rear wheel drive, manual gearbox. Sorry mosquitoes. And it's got plenty of power. What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this POV review by Autobahn. My name is Max, and today I'm taking you around the new BMW M2. This is a facelift, so an LCI as they call it at BMW, and that is enough reason for us to have a go, see what has changed, what it feels like, and yeah, it's a beautiful day, so take out an M2, right? That's kind of the deal. So I'll show you around it. We've got this crazy wrap. I'll show you the spec, and then we'll take it for a drive towards the Autobahn for an Autobahn blast. It has been changed. Well, looking at it, you wouldn't know, because exterior wise it hasn't really changed. We still have the very aggressive front bumper with the big square intakes and the low intake down here with a little bit of carbon for the exterior pack, which is nice. Still have that frameless grille, basically, that kind of still looks a bit weird, but I do have to say we're 2 years in now, I think, and I have gotten used to it. I think the front is actually quite a good front end. You also get these winglets here on the side for the exterior pack, and the wrap is inspired, I think, by tracks, or race tracks. But it kind of, it sort of looks to me like Paul Ricard or something like that. You could also make a case that this is like one of those topographic elevation charts. And it kind of reminds me of those squiggly bits you see when you look into the sun for too long. You get those squiggly bits dancing, those worms in front of your eyes. But it is, I mean, it stands out. I think that's their goal, and they succeeded at that. This white with all those colors. I even added some more color, couple pops of color right there on the Autobahn. Beautiful, almost Jackson Pollock like pop of color there. Nah, sorry mosquitoes, I'm sorry. You think our alien overlords will be talking about us in like that in 1,000 years? I don't know, let's find out. Okay, anyway, enough with that. We've got these upgrade M performance wheels on this car, so that's a 20-inch at the front, 21-inch at the rear. Standard, it comes on, as standard, it comes on 19s front, 20s rear. And for the new M2, we've got a couple nice updates. Namely, you can get a nice silver wheel now on the M2, which I like. I always like silver wheels, and this was not available on the M2. You had the two-tone thing and black wheels, but not silver. So unfortunately we don't have that today, because I love silver wheels and you see too many black wheels. So, save the silver wheel. We also have M compound brakes behind that, perforated discs, actually pretty good brakes. You cannot get carbon ceramics on the regular M2. They did introduce it on the CS recently, but you still cannot get it on the M2, unfortunately. Around that, we've got these Yokohama Advan tires, which are not great. Don't really like those. There's also an update for the exterior, so you can get a lot more colors now, like Sao Paulo yellow, fire red, skyscraper gray, voodoo blue, java green, Portimao blue, frozen Portimao blue, and frozen pure silver, which is also very nice. So finally we get a couple of new colors on the M2. It was always very limited, and that was down to the factory in Mexico that these cars were built, and apparently they just didn't have the capacity to do more colors or individual or whatever. So now you can actually properly spec an M2, which is great. Carbon mirror caps there. We've got the extended side skirt there with the winglet, which is also nice. Carbon fiber roof is optional, and this car has that. You can actually see a little bit of a thing there. I think it's also part of the racetrack pack that you can get, which gives you the carbon buckets, carbon interior, race top speed, and the carbon roof. Little carbon spoiler as well. Well, little is actually quite large. It's a bit too big, if you ask me. I think it kind of ruins the look of the rear, which is very hard to ruin that, because it's already not that good looking, but I think this is a bit too much. Carbon diffuser as well, and the black tailpipes we recently had a customer car which had silver tailpipes, which I thought was really cool. You don't really see that often. So now with the silver wheels that you can get optionally, would be cool to have the silver exhaust as well. Anyway, S58, 3-liter inline 6, 2 twin scroll turbos, and that means that you have 480 horsepower, which is a 20 horsepower bump from the pre-facelift. And it also means that you have more power than the M4 manual, the regular one, which is also kind of nice. Torque stays the same, 550 Newton meters for the manual, 600 Newton meters for the automatic, and 0 to 100 4.2 for the manual, 4 seconds for the automatic, and that is both 0.1 of a second quicker than the pre-facelift. Other than that, not that many changes. I mean, since this is already, you know, very similar to the M3 engine, BMW says very similar. Well, I think it's just the same. That has been down tuned. So 20 horsepower, they probably just fiddled around with the software and they got 20 horsepower. I don't think it's that difficult, to be honest. All right, let's have a look inside. So more M Performance carbon there on the door sill, and as I said, we have the beautiful buckets, which are amazing. They are not only beautiful to look at, they also they are so snug. I know there have been a lot of comments about this carbon fiber ball catcher or whatever you want to call it. I don't really mind it. Even with the manual, it doesn't really annoy me. It's not in the way or anything like that, and the seating position is just so good with this compared to the regular sports seats that I do think I would go for the buckets. They're a bit hard, but since your seating position is so good, it's actually very doable for longer journeys. And I know that from experience because we also have these in our M3, and we are so happy that we have them, and we never ever regret getting them. So yeah, I think that's the best way to explain it. New steering wheel for the LCI. Unfortunately, we have the flat bottom. It's way too thick. It's ugly. I don't like it. No, I am a fan of simple, clean steering wheels, which are round. So yeah, I think the previous one, the one that we have in the M3, I think that's just a better steering wheel, but that's me. Now, we do have regular buttons, so I'm also going to say things like this because so many brands are doing stupid things with touch screens and touch buttons. This car still has regular buttons, so that is good. Click, click, click. You can do it blindly at 250 kilometers an hour, and it always reacts the same. If you press it like that, it goes on. You don't have to feel it or swipe it or caress it. No, you just click it and it works. Sometimes things work and then you don't change them. And another shout out to BMW, even though they have incorporated all the climate things in their iDrive, which is stupid, they do still have this physical thing to adjust the brightness of the screens and of the interior light stuff. So that is good. I like that because I've driven cars recently where you have to go into the menu to change that, and I don't like that because you're driving on the road, on the highway, whatever, it's dark and you know it's too bright. You just do that and it's perfect, like that. Start it up. So this is valves open, and I have to say revving actually sounds pretty good. It's nice and dark, but once you get some load on it, it kind of deteriorates. So yeah, that's of course down to the turbos as well. But we've got M1. Let's go to setup. So this is my M1 Sport Plus with the throttle bip, suspension in sport, steering in sport, brakes in sport, traction control all the way off, and then that's it. So this is my M1, and then you can set up your M2 over here as well, but it's nice. I like this. This is iDrive 8.5, the updated version with the climate down there. Yeah, I've said enough about this. I think I don't have to do that again. So M mode, Sport, and let's have a drive. Other than that, I don't think there have been changes on the interior. Not that I can spot. Oh, another good thing. I'm going to single out these good things now, because too many brands are messing it up, including BMW. But physical iDrive wheel is great, and this is also the older version, which is even better than the newer cars that also still have this, but they have a different version. This is the best one. Keep that one, BMW. Keep it, please. It's so good. It works. There we go. So, rear wheel drive, manual gearbox. Which is, yeah, this is like the sportiest, most pure M experience you can have, right? Still a manual, still a 6-cylinder, rear wheel drive. Sounds pretty damn good for an OPF car, I think. You have plenty of 6-cylinder sound. Turn in is pretty good. It does feel a little bit heavy. Weighs 1680 kilos, something like that. It is a porker, this thing, and especially if you compare it to the predecessor F87, which is like 200 plus kilos lighter. Yeah, it's, for me, it's not the same car. I know it's the next generation M2, but for me, this feels way too close to an M4 to be anything like the previous M2, which was just a hooligan of a car to drive. Right, launch control 4.2, which is very difficult to get. So I did 4.29, I think, after trying, I don't know, 7-8 times. It's very delicate, so you have to get it spot on with that launch control, because otherwise it just either bogs down, or, you know, if you do it without MDM mode, which is what you use for the launch control. So if you just turn traction control off, you can also do proper like burnout starts, but that is even slower, but it is more fun. So 4.2, yeah, I think you should be able to get that, but it is quite difficult. So that little 20 horsepower bump in power, what does that do? Not that much. I mean, it's already plenty 460. Used to be 460, which was already plenty, is what I meant to say. And it's just nice to have a bit more power, and the torque is available over a bit bigger rev range, but it's not really that noticeable, to be honest. I do feel like, I don't know if that is because I'm used to our M3 with 70,000 kilometers and a different clutch and a short shifter and stuff like that, but this feels much better than our manual. It feels a little bit more solid. I don't know if they made any changes. I didn't find anything. Couldn't find any news about that, but I like it. It's a little bit rubbery, as all BMW manuals are, but that does mean that it's super usable in daily driving. It's comfortable to use, but also, you know, tight enough to abuse it when you want, right? I think that's the best way to describe it. But I'm just happy that it's here, honestly. I mean, I feel like that's also why we bought our M3 with a manual. I love manuals. I think cars with a manual gearbox, they are so much nicer to drive, and they stay fun for a much longer period of time. When I drive an M2 or an M3 with an automatic, yes, it's very fast, it's very impressive. You can do massive skids, it's super impressive and easy, and it's great. But after a while, you get a bit bored by it. But before we hit the Autobahn, I want to tell you about Petrol Vibes. This is their newest edition, a neon track silhouette, basically, with all the numbers and names of corners, the different sectors. It looks absolutely amazing here in our workshop. They still also have the regular wall art car silhouettes, the 2mm thick steel that has been laser cut. Their designs are just gorgeous, and you can also submit your own car to their website and they will make a custom silhouette of your car with all your accessories, your modifications. It looks absolutely insane. We've had one made of a Toyota Supra recently and it is just gorgeous. We've got a lot of BMWs here in the workshop. We've got a couple cool cars up in the sim room as well. And if you want one of these things, perfect gift for yourself or any other petrol head, make sure you check out Petrol Vibes and use code AUTOTOPNL10 for a 10% discount. Enjoy the video. With a manual, it's just not the case. One, you're always developing, you're always sort of getting to know the car, trying to shift faster, better. And two, speed is not as important and 100 to 200 times and stuff like that. So it's also easier to kind of let that go and just think, I just want to have a nice time. I don't need 800 horsepower. I mean, it's fun, don't get me wrong, but the manual kind of entices you to stay in that sweet spot, to not go overboard. So top speed 285. I'm not going to pass these guys that quickly, but 285 for the M driver spec, 250 normally, which is also plenty. I mean, if you put a stage 1 on this thing, it will go 300 plus easy. Throttle blips are super nice as well. And so the funny thing is, if you look at BMW's range right now, this is by far the most dynamically capable and most fun car to drive. You know, manual gearbox, rear wheel drive. It's the lightest of the proper M cars. So in that respect, this is like a proper driver's car. If you start comparing it to the previous one, which was, you know, not as capable, not as versatile, and not as good, objectively speaking, as this, but you know, one hell of a car to drive. And I don't know, that if you start comparing it to that, or to, for instance, a Porsche 718 Cayman, or a Lotus Emira, or an Alpine, even A110R or whatever, something like that, then this feels big and, you know, heavy and very comfortable. And I don't know, it's I think in that respect they kind of struck a good middle ground with this car, being fun enough and light enough and exciting enough to drive and to have fun, but also having a proper rear seat, a proper boot. It's more than comfortable enough to daily drive or to take on trips when you change the setup to, let's say, comfort. So in that respect, it's a really versatile car. Hello. So we know that this, you know, this engine, this package is just super capable. It's not the most charismatic of drivetrains, but it is super effective. And the fact that it actually likes to rev, and it's got plenty of power at the top range there, at the top of the revs, just makes for a very enjoyable driving experience. Man, thank you. To 200, we did 9 seconds, which is also fine. I think it's not that much faster than the facelift. Something like 292 on the speedo, I think. I am kind of getting the car. At first I was very hesitant to like it because I didn't really understand it, and I thought, why wouldn't you buy an M4 if you're spending almost M4 money? And you get this less powerful, more ugly version of basically the same package. But with a manual, I kind of get it. It's a shame that it's not the most handsome car, but I do feel like there's a place for this car. It deserves a place. It should have been like 100 kilos lighter. I think that would have been just the sweet spot. Anyway, it's been refreshed, so definitely worth checking it out, because you get some proper colors now, and go for those silver wheels, guys, because that is just lovely. Okay, I'm going to end it here, back in the Netherlands, so fun is over. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. You can subscribe by clicking the big button in the middle, check out this video, this playlist, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye.